We're live. Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance, everybody. I'm supposed to be tutoring right now, but I had a session that finished early. So I have enough time to address a question that some of you might be wondering. And that question is, do I hate poor people? Do I wish them ill will and death and destruction? The answer is no, I don't. Now, if you haven't bought my book yet, it's called Stop Being a Broke Loser, which I highly recommend you buy. You won't know or you won't fully understand the extent of my philosophy on money. And my philosophy on money it has nothing to do with what your income is. It doesn't even have anything to do with how much wealth you have, because some people can inherit wealth or, get extremely lucky. I don't hate poor people. I hate people that are garbage with their money. They spend more than they make. And, if it's based on necessity, okay. Like, I understand if you're extremely impoverished and you're there because of no fault of your own. I understand that it's hard to not spend more than you make. But the average person in America is a financial disaster. And it doesn't matter how much they make. I don't give a crap how much you make. The main way that I judge a person is if they're responsible with their money. Because being responsible with your money has massive first, second, and third order, consequences. For example, let's say you're the typical American and you blow all your freaking money on BS. Let's say you make $60,000 a year, or your household brings that much in. And you're like, I'm just going to live my life and I'm going to get just as much house as I can afford. I'm going to get a nice car and I'll save a tad bit for retirement, but I have to live my life. Well, guess what happens when a person like that hits retirement? They generally don't have enough money to live a good retirement, and they become wards of the state through Social Security, or even worse, they have to move in with their working children. You ever heard of the sandwich generation? It's like a generation where you got working mom and dad, and they have kids, which is fine. A lot of people want to have kids. And then mommy and daddy, who were financially irresponsible their whole life. And yes, most people can save money and live a good retirement. I don't want to hear any BS. Mommy and daddy have to move in and take up an extra room in their children's house, or force their children to get a bigger house to accommodate them because they didn't save freaking money their whole lives. Instead, they, I don't know what they did with it. Most people spend their money on BS. And that's the worst thing you can possibly do. You're basically an intergenerational vampire. If you have to move in with your children and make them work harder and make them expend a ton of resources on you, when those resources should be used to fund their retirement and to help raise their kids properly. That's what I don't like. That's why I get angry when I see all these financially independent Americans. It doesn't just affect you. You not saving money isn't just your problem. It's actually society's problem. Number one, because of Social Security. We have a big problem with Social Security. We have a shrinking population and we have a bunch of older people. And the more and more older people there are, the more and more the younger generations have to work to support them. And that generally means that we're going to have to pay higher and higher payroll taxes. Now, we already pay 6.5 or 6.2% on the employee side, and the employer also has to pay 6.2%. And if those go up, that's just going to decrease the wages of the working population to support a bunch of people that didn't save for retirement. So going back to the question of, do I hate the poor? No, I don't. Now, if you've fallen on hard times, I want you to kind of learn or think about how you got there. Now, sometimes you get there through no fault of your own, and that's completely understandable. I'm not going to be mad at somebody that really had no choice. But there's a ton of people that just make a bunch of stupid financial decisions that make them land in hard times. Like if you have a job and you're working for 5 or 10 years and you don't save money and then you lose that job. Well, guess what? You just screwed yourself. When you're working, you should be saving as much as you possibly can on the off chance that you lose your job. Now, just because you lost your job, you shouldn't go blaming everybody. If you got laid off or whatever, sometimes you have to adapt. That's just how it is. That's why I save money. I never feel secure in my job. Even if I have a government job, I still don't feel secure. And I still plan for the day when I might potentially lose my job for whatever stupid reason. I'm prepared for that. That's why I'm so big into this, because more people need to prepare themselves for the possibility that they'll lose their job or potentially fall in hard times. Because if you saved a ton of money and something happens and you have to quit your job or you get fired or there's a recession, you're going to be just fine. And you don't have to beg and, you know, guilt other people and cause drama, because you can actually take care of yourself during hard times. And you don't need a stimmy check. You don't need the government to print money to support you. So no, if you've fallen on hard times right now and you're struggling, the thing you don't need to do is blame other people for your problems, even if your problems are the result of some people screwing you over. Instead of dwelling on that, you need to look to the future and say, okay, how did I get in this situation? How did I fall on hard times? How can I prevent this in the future? And then you need to strive to get there. You need to set a goal and work towards it. Because if you don't, and you just sit there and you like stew in bitterness and, oh, it's the rich people, they screwed me over, it's the capitalists, whatever, that's not going to solve your problems. And, you know, voting for a specific party like the Democrats, that's not going to help you. They might give you a little chump change, but that's not going to change your life, okay? They'll basically keep you alive, but they're not going to help you prosper and succeed. So even if you have a low income, I don't hate you. I have no problem with somebody that has low income. I mean, I've made crap income plenty of times in my life, but I always had a goal. I always knew that I was going to work to make myself secure. And no matter how much I made, I always found a way to save money. Now, a lot of people don't understand that. They think, oh, if you're poor, you can't get ahead. Well, when I first started working at my job, I made about $35,000 to $37,000 a year. And did I say, oh, it's not fair? Oh my God, I'm so poor. I can't do anything. No, I live below my means. And I still managed to save money because I didn't do a bunch of stupid crap. I didn't go buy an expensive house. I didn't go buy a new car. I didn't blow my money going to the club all the time. I lived well below my means. I didn't eat out a lot. I made sure that no matter what, I was saving money on the off chance that I lost my job. So have a goal, no matter where you're at right now. Have a goal for how to succeed and work towards it. And don't blame other people, because it will not solve your problems. I guarantee it. But if you have a goal and you really want to achieve it and you have a burning desire to, financially support yourself, and you don't think other people are going to give you money, pretty much all the time, unless something crazy happens to you, you're going to eventually get that goal. It's all about how much you want it. Being wealthy really is a mindset. I mean, I know it sounds cliche, like that's what everybody says on YouTube, but it's true. I mean, when I was making $37,000 a year or 35 or whatever, some people were like, oh, that's it. You're that low. But I knew. I said, screw you. I know I'm going to get raises. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to save money, and I'm going to be much better financially off than you are. And guess what? Because I worked hard, I studied for the CPA on the side. I went back in the Army Reserves for a little bit. I did whatever it took, no matter how much I hated it, to improve my station in life. And it worked out. Imagine that. I didn't beg the Democrats, or I guess even the Republicans, print money too. I didn't beg anybody, and I didn't expect anybody to take care of me. So the whole point of this is, you're not a bad person. You're not a loser. You're not a failure just because you don't make a lot of money. But don't get stuck in the mindset that you're trapped in a situation. If you really believe that you can get out of any situation and you strive for it and you work to, get a marketable skill, save whatever money you can, don't spend your money on frivolous pleasures, eventually it'll work out for you. It's crazy. If you keep saving money, your account gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And before you know it, you have this massive cushion and you no longer have stress in your life. And you're no longer worried about falling back into poverty because you actually have the opportunity to succeed. Okay? That's it. I don't hate poor people. I hate people that spend their money irresponsibly. So I don't care. You make $20,000, $30,000 a year. I don't care. But, if you have a goal and you're striving for it and you're financially responsible, you're not doing stupid things with your money and you're working hard, I don't got a problem with you. But if you're rich, you have a high income, and you're like, I gotta get a new car, SUV here, SUV there, massive house, I think you're a loser. I don't respect you, especially if you have nothing saved up. Because at the end of the day, you're just going to be a burden on society, which I hate. I think it's disgusting. These people that have the means and the ability to save money, but they don't. They're like, oh, you only live once, blow all your money. And then they become old and they're like, oh, the Social Security needs to take care of me, or my children need to take care of me. That's garbage. Don't ever become that person. Work hard. It'll work. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It'll work. Okay. Don't expect anybody to give you free crap. And that's it. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in a little bit.